We are going to build a real-time chat application using Nodejs and WebSockets. So for that we will need two packages, Express framework and socketio. So create one fresh folder and open it in VS Code, and then type npm install, or I is also fine, npm install socketio and Express. So once these packages are installed, we can create a normal folder structure. So I think we need one public folder, and inside that we will put this UI file on which we will show that chat UI. So html dot index.html. Yep. And then I will do explanation. This will generate temporary this sample template. Yeah. I will just add chat app. We will complete this later once we complete the backend. But yes, this is the structure for now. So let's close this and create our main file, that is app.js. So inside this file we will write all the logic. Yeah. So I will hide this terminal now and let's write some code. Yeah. So first we need to import Express. So okay, and so we will require that package. Then we also need HTTP, require HTTP. Then we will create this server, require from the socketio. Yeah. Okay, single quotes everywhere. Okay. Then I will create this app instance using Express, and then this server http dot create server using that Express app instance, and we need one socketio instance, right? So const io equal to new server, the variable we just imported, the library itself. Yeah. So we will create one instance of that. Then here we will say we need to serve the file from the public folder, that index.html file, right? So that's why serve the file, right? Then app.use express dot static and the folder public. Yeah. Then here we will write code to handle the socket connection. So whenever someone connects, I mean two user connects via channel, right? So this is where we will write our code. So io, the library instance we created. So io dot on connection. So here callback function, we will receive that socket instance. Here I will just console log user connected. Yeah. Then so whenever someone sends message, we will broadcast that. Yeah. Broadcast message to all clients. So whoever it is connected via connection, they will all receive that message. So socket dot on chat and message. Yeah. Comma, and in this callback function we will receive two things. So username and message, basically who sent it and what is the content of that, right? In this callback function what we need to do, io dot emit chat message, and we need to send that username and message. Okay. Now another thing is, when someone disconnects, socket dot on disconnect, and then this callback function, we will just log it to the console for now. User disconnected. Okay, I will just add a simple explanation. Okay, now this backend is done. We need to start the server now. Start the server. Yeah, so we will run our app on port transport equal to, let's say, 3000. Server dot listen on this port, then callback function. I'll just log it to console. Server is running. Yep. So let's save this, and I will run it using node app.js. So it is saying server is running. This means our code doesn't have any error. Now let's write that front end logic, so we can send message on this connection and multiple user can chat using that window. So I will just close this, hide it again, and go to index.html, and we can write our app logic here. So here what I will do, so first let me separate this so we can write clearly, hide the sidebar. Okay, so we will need one division. Yep. And I will give it one ID of username model. So basically we will show model, so whenever someone types message, we will know that that is the user, right? And inside that one division again, and in here h2 some normal heading. Here we will ask like enter your username, input, and then ID of username, input. This will be of type text, obviously. Then we will show some message in placeholder like your username, nothing fancy. Then button. So in here we will say that set username. So basically we are showing input and then button in front of that, like set the username. I will give this ID of set user name button. Yeah. Then this model is done. Then we can show our actual main UI like h1, and then real-time chat app. Below that I will show one division, and inside that we will load all of the messages. So I will give it a ID of messages, multiple is fine. Then we will show one form. So in this input box, user will type the message, and in this about division we will render that message. So in the form I will give it one ID of a form, and then here we can show like input of type text, and then I will give it ID of input only, and then I will write placeholder, type a message. Okay, I will also set auto complete off. There is no need, but yeah, it looks clean. And then there is one button to send that message. Yeah, send. Okay, now we need to import our script for the socketio connection. So once you create a socket connection here, it is automatically available on /socket.io /socket.io/js. Yeah. So once this is imported, we can write the JavaScript logic below. So script, and inside that const socket equal to IO. So we will create the instance of WebSockets. Then here we will now import all the things from the UI. So const form equal to document dot query selector. This will select that form tag, the form, and then we also need input equal to, I will just copy paste this, document dot query selector input. Okay, and then messages, again I will copy paste same thing, this one, and here as well. So we got three things in the variable form, input, and messages. We need three more, that is to control the model, and then username input, and to set username input button. Yeah, this one. Now let's copy this for the remaining fields. So first one is for username model, this one, and we will get that using this. See, we have given you query selector, right? So this selection will not work, so we need to replace it with, so I selected using Control D, it will select all the instance of the same text. Like if you need to do that, you can double click any text and do Control D, it will select all the same text. So here you need to add hash because this is ID, right? So that's how you select. So now it will work. Yeah. Okay, so where we were on the username model. Okay, username model done. Then second thing is username input. So we got the username input. Then another thing is set username input button. So set username button, so copy and then paste. Yep. So let's save this. Now we got all the variables that we need. So I need we will declare one simple variable to store the username that user has entered. So by default it will be a blank. Okay, then we will write here some comments to make it logical, right? Set username function we will write here. Then we will also need handle form submission. Then we also need logic to display messages. Yeah. Okay, now let's write one by one. So whenever someone clicks on username button, then we need to execute some action, right? So set username button dot add event listener, click. So if someone clicks on it, we will execute this callback function. And inside this, what we'll do, we will first check that if that username input field is not blank, right? So we will check like if its value, I will also trim that value to remove the spaces. So if there is value in that, right, then only we will set the username variable value, right? So it is username equal to username input dot value dot trim. Okay, and then username, this model we can hide it, right? We don't need it anymore. So username dot style dot display equal to none. Now this is done. We will handle now form submission. So whenever someone types the message, right? So here what we'll do, form dot add event listener. submit. So when someone types the message, we will handle here. So e dot prevent default, we will prevent default the default submission. So we will prevent the default submission basically. Then we will first check before emitting the WebSockets message. We will first check like if the input has any value. So input dot value, and the username is also present, right? That also we will check. Then we will emit the message. So socket dot emit, and we will emit on this connection chat message. And remember, we need to send two things, username and message, right? So that's what we will do here, like username and then message. So here message is actually input dot value, right? Whatever user entered, so that we will send here two things in the object, username and message. So once this is done, we will also clear the value of that input. So input dot value equal to blank. Okay, then there is this next method to display the message. So now when some users sends the message, we need to catch that also, right? So socket dot on chat message, and in here we will receive two things, username and then message. So I will rename this to sender, and then callback function. So very first thing we need to do is sent. We will check if the sender is the actual user, right? Then what we'll do, we will create one division to check the UI and set the message accordingly, right? So for that we need one item. So const item document dot create element division, and in here item dot class list dot add, we will add message, and then we will check if is sent is true. If it is true, then we will add a sent class in that. Otherwise we will add a received class in that. Okay, so using these classes we can differentiate that particular message, right, if it is being sent or received. Then we need another div to render the actual content. So I will create this div, const content equal to document dot create element div, and then content dot class list dot add content, and content dot text content, we will set its value to the message that we received from the server, right? Okay, then now what we need to do, we need to check here, like if it is not sent, right? If it is not the sent message, then const username span, we will create new element. So basically in front of the received message we will show the username also. So that's why if the message is being sent, it will show on our side, right? So I don't want to show my username, basically the sender username. I want to only see the receiver username. So that's why I added the check of if it is not sent. Document dot create element span, and then username, I will just copy paste here now, username span equal to no, so we need to set the class list dot add, we will add this special class user. So all these classes, right, I'm going to add the styles here at the top, but I will show you the functional part first, then I will add styling, because this is Node.js tutorial, so that's why I'm not adding styles. So after some time I will add styles here before ending the tutorial, so people can get the whole idea, right? Then username span dot text content, so in here we will show that actual sender, yeah, and then item dot append child username span, and we will append this whole span to the item UI, right? Now once we attach the username, we also need to attach the message itself, right, that we built at the top, right? So that's why item dot append child content, and the whole message div, right, messages dot, it will render all the messages. So we will attach this item, and also messages dot scroll top function. So we will basically scroll to that message, right? Message div, messages dot scroll it. Okay, now our app should be ready. So basically we created this application which will ask for the username, and then we can enter the message, and it will be handled over a Node.js simple script using WebSockets. So let's run this.